Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you are all doing very well. Today's class is all for the beginners, which is so lovely. I love bringing Pilates back to the foundations and just really thinking about our core and our form, as we always should be in every class, no matter whether we're doing beginners or advanced. So really excited for today. It's going to be a short 20-minute flow, but just really, I'm going to be talking a lot, and I hope you can come back to this when you do other workouts with me. And if you join the platform, we definitely have a strong focus on core form, and there are lots of other bits to help you make sure you get the best out of your workout. So with all of that in mind, let's get going. You're going to start in a seated position. I'm sat on the block, so please do go and grab any extra props that you need to assist you. We talk a lot about this more on the platform, but just to give you a quick spiel now, block is really a great thing for seated exercises, particularly if you have an anterior pelvic tilt. So we want to make sure that our pelvis is nice and centered underneath our ribs and our hips. And I'm going to ask you to pop your hands on your rib cage, and let's just get into some really important breath work here. So you're going to take a nice deep inhale in through the nose and out through the mouth, through pursed lips. Nice. And again, in through the nose, really feeling that rib cage expand upwards and outwards. So you're going to feel your hands come nice and laterally. And then as you exhale, you're drawing all of that air out of the body. And again, in through the nose. Really feeling the back of the rib cage expand. It's very underutilized, so really breathe all the way through the body and exhale. Nice and deeply drawing out all of that air. Again, try not to breathe into the chest. So we want to make sure that the lungs are nice and filled, but we're trying to make the breath go more down here into the belly. And then as we exhale, we draw everything out. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed as you breathe. And give me one more here. Find that nice wide opening of the rib cage. And as you exhale, front of the rib cage really softens here. Nice. So we do lots more breathing on the platform, but just as a nice intro for beginners, I think it's really important for you to understand that breath, why we do it, the Pilates breath, and how that really engages your deeper core abdominal muscles. Let's now just move on to the pelvis. So you're going to move any blocks that you may have and come to lying on your back. So we're lying in supine. Have the knees bent. Make sure that the heels are just under the sit bones here, in line with the sit bones, sorry. Have the arms nice and long. And just make sure here that you're in your nice neutral spine. Now, how do we get our nice neutral spine? Let's just do a couple of pelvic tilts here. So I want you to rock your pelvis backwards and forwards. So make sure the tailbone stays down. You're rocking the pelvis, backwards and forwards. And really thinking about exaggerating that anterior and posterior pelvic tilt. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Really finding, as you inhale, thinking about pairing it with the breath. As you inhale, you really want to draw that pubic bone down towards the end of the mat over there. So we're finding a nice arch here in the lower back. And as you exhale, you want to draw that pubic bone towards your nose, find that rib to hip connection, and really enjoy that nice lengthening of the back and the lower back particularly, and making contact with that mat. Okay, so it's a nice lengthening through the back of the body on the exhale. So on the inhale, really thinking about drawing that pubic bone away from my nose, and you can keep your hands on your hips here. And as I exhale, drawing everything back. Nice, and it's a nice exaggerated movement as we tuck and tilt the pelvis. A nice rocking action. You might want to think of it as kind of your pelvis as a clock, so you're moving from 12 to 6. And really enjoying that nice, yummy movement of the spine. If the upper back wants to get involved, allow it, that's absolutely fine. Just allow the spine to get some nice mobility here before we move. So you're going to continue that rock, drawing pubic bone away and towards the nose. And then I really want you just to slow that rock down. So you're going to slow your rock down to come to that middle point that we call neutral. And when we're in a neutral position, we allow the natural curve of our lower spine. So there's no exaggerated arch there. We're just in a nice, comfortable position, the most optimal position that we want to be in to achieve the most out of the workout, okay? So just find your neutral spine there. You might have a bit of, everybody's neutral is different. So we call it functional neutral. So just find that space for you. It might be for you that you've got a pocket of air underneath the lower back. Just find where that is for you. And then you're just gonna take one more breath here. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Relax the shoulders, and then we are ready to start. So to start, we're going to start with an ab prep. I want you to bring your hands either side of the head and take a nice inhale as we have just done here. And as you inhale, really think about what's happening before we're going to curl up head, neck and shoulders. So before that, we inhale, prepare, slight head nod. Think of your traffic light. So we're going to move our head from red to amber. Not all the way here. We do not want chin to chest. We don't want to sandwich the chin to the chest. We just want to keep that small peach here. On the inhale, we're preparing, and then exhale, we're going to curl up head, neck and shoulders, keeping the mid and lower back into the mat. My gaze is at the middle of my thigh. Shoulders are nice and wide, and then I'm going to curl down. Right, so again, inhale, prepare, exhale, lift up head, neck and shoulders. Beautiful. And come down. You're here for 3. Stay nice and lifted through that thoracic flexion for 2. Staying nice and grounded here. And 1. Curl up. We're going to stay here and pulse. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and curl back down. Nice. And just take a breath here. And release. I want you to slide the hands down right by the hips. And we're going to come into a little bit of extension first. So today's more about form and breath and all those lovely things that we need to think about. So less about flow. I really want you to think about form today. So let's come into a breaststroke prep. You're going to be on your tummies. We're in a prone position. Again, having that nice starting position is optimal all the time, on the mat, on the reformer, whatever equipment you're using, okay? So always have that in mind for yourself. You want to make sure that your legs are hip distance apart. You have your hands in like a W position, and you're just hovering the nose above the mat. Okay, you can take a nice inhale here. And on the inhale, we prepare again. Imagine you're rolling a marble with your nose to prepare, because we want to make sure that head and neck stay in line. We're going to press the palms into the mat, and then we're going to lift, okay? Keeping that lower rib cage down, so we don't want to come up too high up here. Staying down, we keep our eye gaze towards the end of the mat. Don't come up too high. And then we exhale and come down. Nice. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, lift. Inhale, stay. And then exhale, come down. And just give me 3 more here. Really practicing your breath. And come down. Inhaling to prepare and exhale, press. Finding that nice extension through the back. Really activating those nice back muscles that we don't tend to use because we spend a lot of time in flexion in daily life. And 2 more. And last one. Exhaling as you press into the mat, lifting the gaze slightly. We don't want any hyperextension. Bring the head down and come down. Nice. And press into those palms and sit yourself back into a nice shelf stretch here. You can have the arms out here if you would like, just to really find that extra flexion, or you might want to bring the hands behind you and have the palms facing the ceiling. It's a nice active stretch, shell stretch here, so you don't want to collapse down here, really keep that core connection. Just shimmy myself forward a little bit. And breathe deeply here, into the nose. And out through the mouth. And one more time. And let's now turn ourselves again back onto our mat, back onto our backs. And let's come into the 100. Okay, so you're going to come back into your supine position with your knees bent. You've got your feet, your heels nice and in line with the sit bones. Hip distance apart, arms are nice and long. And let's now take a breath here. And then we're going to bring the legs to tabletop. Okay, so inhale, right leg's going to come up first. Really think about the positioning here. So we want knee in line with hip. Exhale the other. And then we're going to curl up head, neck and shoulders, keeping mid and lower back on the mat, and we're going to reach forward here. Beautiful. We're in our optimal position for 100. Shins are parallel to the ceiling. And then we're going to begin to start pumping the arms. Imagine you're pumping small tennis balls. So inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. And keep that motion going. Really think about keeping your gaze on your mid-thigh. And we're really thinking about our breath. So inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Amazing. Keep that going. Can you lift that thoracic flexion higher? Keeping mid and lower back on the mats. Keep breathing, really, really reach through those fingers. And inhale. Beautiful, keep that going. And inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep it going. Lift, lift, lift. And you can come down. Lower head, neck and shoulders. Toe ball, heel it down. And just take a breath there. That's a really nice warm-up. She calls it a warm-up. Warm-up exercise, if you like. Just really breathe through it to help you keep going. Breathing in through the nose. And out through the mouth. And then I'd like you to curl up head, neck and shoulders. We're going to come up into a nice seated position, but you're going to keep the knees bent if you can. So maybe slide them forward just slightly to give you a little bit more space. Inhale and begin to roll yourself back up here. Okay, let's keep the arms nice and long. We're going to have the arms reaching forward, keeping those wrists in line with shoulders. And inhale, begin to find your C curve. So you might often hear C curve. So what you're thinking about your C curve is you really want to be drawing that belly button nice and gently towards the spine. So in and up. We're not bracing. And we're rolling, tucking the tailbone between the legs and imagining your spine's in that kind of like C shape. But you want to keep your shoulders in line with wrists. So we don't want to be doing this. Okay, so everything is nice and controlled. And exhale, reach forward. Okay, keeping that nice alignment. Inhale, roll back. Begin to tuck the tailbone between the legs. Find that nice, gentle tucking of the tailbone. Drawing belly button to spine. And exhale, reach. Nice. And again, inhale, we peel the spine back. Reaching through the fingertips. So think about those oppositional forces. Really engaging, drawing towards the midline here. And reach. Beautiful. Let's do one more. Finding that nice tucking of the tailbone, really keeping those feet nice and grounded, keeping the gaze forward. And we reach. Beautiful. Let's continue now and come into a nice rolling like a ball position. So option to keep the feet down if you can't find if you can't roll back on the spine, and you're just going to keep practicing that motion here. Otherwise, we're going to go into rolling like a ball. So you're going to find that C curve that we just talked about. We've got that drawing the sit bones towards the back of the pelvis. Okay, that's another way of thinking of it. So I'm drawing my sit bones towards the back of the pelvis, which gives me the sensation of wanting to lift my legs up into a nice tabletop position. Hands are going to come to the side of my legs, and then we're going to roll back like this. Okay, so we're going to inhale, try not to grip onto the legs. Inhale, rolling back on my visible white line, and then coming up. Really balancing on those sit bones there towards the back of the sit bones. We want to maintain that scoop. Really enjoy actually rolling into that spine. Bone by bone. Nice. And we've got two more. Inhale, rolling back. Really find that control. Final one. If you want to, lift the arms and toe ball, heel it down. And then we're going to roll down all the way to find, shift back a bit, to find our roll up. Okay, so arms come overhead. And just take a breath here, if you need a little bit of a break. So inhale, you're going to lift the arms to ceiling. And exhale, you're going to begin to peel all the way through the spine. So really think of your spine, guys, as a string of beads. Okay, so we're really peeling up through the spine. And again, finding that C curve. There's a theme here. Drawing belly button to spine, and I'm looking down at my thighs as I reach all the way forward. Nice. And then I'm going to peel my spine all the way back down. Really try to point the toes. Bring the arms overhead. Nice. And inhale, we lift. exhale, we begin to curl up. Keep that space here and reach through those fingertips, keeping our beach ball in place, reaching all the way up and over. Nice. And then we're going to peel all the way back, down, bone by bone. Take it nice and slowly. As you're peeling back, think about it like you're putting brakes on. Really resist the urge to throw yourself down. Again, here we want to maintain that rib to hip connection. So we don't want to pop the rib cage and relax here. Really keep nice and centered and nice and tight, guys, without bracing. Drawing up through that pelvic floor all the time. Pelvic floor, and we're thinking about really that rib to hip connection. So drawing the sit bones or the hip bones together. Okay, you might want to think of it as like a corset, like you're doing up a corset, but really don't want you to brace here. It's just really gentle. So let's go for one more. Inhale, lift. And curl all the way up, nice. And slowly. Reaching forward all the way. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. That's it. And then we peel all the way back down. And this time I want you to bring your left leg with you. So bring the left leg into tabletop. And that right hand now is supporting the inside of your knee. And that left hand is going to come to your ankle. Curl up head, neck and shoulders. Just lift that right leg to a hover, and we're in our starting position for our single leg stretch. So you're going to come to a nice switch here. Just working into those abdominals now. Really staying nice and centered through the midline, keeping that outer hand by the ankle. Switching for 4, 3, pointing through the toes for 2, mid and lower back is down for 1. Bring the legs back to tabletop, extend the legs, let's lift up through the chest here, make sure that mid and lower back is down, keep the arms nice and long, and we're in our starting position for scissors. So you're going to lower that left leg, tap it for 2, and switch. Bring the legs to the hands. Stay nice and lifted. And that foot that comes down stays in a hover. Reaching through the toes. Right rib to left hip, stay centered. For 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Bring the leg back, bend the knee to tabletop, and you can come all the way down. Woo. And just throw the arms overhead. You can find a nice bend through the knee if you want to release the lower back. So drop the knees towards the right. You can turn your gaze towards the left and just twist out that lower back. Nice. Inhale, bring the knees through center. And then the other side. And breathe here. Inhale, bring those legs back to center. Let's now come into a quick little finisher. This was definitely meant to be a shorter workout, but I talked too much. So let's just go into a shoulder bridge, because I really want you guys to think about your form in different positions. So here, again, we've got our heels tracking our sit bones, arms are nice and long. Take a nice inhale here, and exhale, I want you to press into the soles. So the soles are gonna press into the mat, and you begin to lift the pelvis here. Coming up into that nice shoulder bridge, where we've got a nice long line from the shoulders all the way through to the thighs. Feel that opening of the thigh bones, guys. So really opening up here, grounding ourselves in the shoulders. Inhaling at the top, and then we're gonna peel all the way back down, allowing the rib cage to land first before the bottom. Nice. And then notice what's happening here with the sit bones. They come nice and wide. Thigh bones really dropping into the sockets. Whew. And again, inhale, prepare. Exhale, press into those soles and begin to lift the pelvis. Nice. Notice sit bones here are drawing together. We've got that rib to hip connection. We've got that nice long line from shoulders. Lots to think about from shoulders, really all the way through to the knees. That nice long line. I'm grounding myself through the shoulders. Inhale at the top and exhale. Peeling all the way back down, bone by bone. I'm really thinking about that landing. Nice. On the next one, you're going to go again. You're going to lift all the way. And you're going to come onto your tippy toes. And really just find a nice balance here. That's it. And then you're going to lift the arms. Make sure that your wrists are in line with shoulders. And we're just going to find a little pulse here. For 3, for 2, for 1. Lower the heels down. Just slide them forward a bit because mine are not underneath my knees. And you're going to bring that right leg to tabletop. Extend, bend, and toe ball, heel it down. Just becoming into a little bit of intermediate work there. Okay, so just practice really keeping your form, and bend and toe ball, heel it down. We're going to do one more. We come to tabletop, extend to point the toe, really reach through that toe, bend and toe ball, heel it down. And then on the other side, really trying to find that rib to hip connection, lift through the glutes, reach, 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 bend, toe ball, heel, and peel everything back down. Whew. And you are done for today. This was definitely meant to be a 20-minute flow, and I've gone way over. But the whole purpose of today's video is really to get you to think about your core and your form and your Pilates breath and all that good stuff. So I hope you had fun and really try to integrate this throughout your workouts. If you're doing more with me, if you join the platform, there's so much more on there for you to learn. But hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.